Hello and welcome back to the show. This is Krush's Kavern, episode 1. We're finally in episode 1. It feels like I released episode 0. Gosh, feels like it's been a month. It's only been a week. But before I get into today's topic, which is inertia in gaming, I'll tell you a little bit about my seemingly endless week to get up to this point. We're finally approved on all of the major platforms, so the podcast can be found in all the normal places. That's Apple Podcasts, Google Play Store, Spotify, Stitcher, Pocket Casts. I've got the YouTube upload, so hopefully you're finding this in one of those places. And if you want to find it in a different place, just go ahead and let me know. I'm sure I can get it up there as well. Ooh, it's been a journey. It's been a real journey. I can tell you that my personal training has been going really, really well. I went through a bit of a stagnation before this week. So I lost body fat, but I hadn't lost any weight. But I could tell where it came from, which was actually really reassuring. I had a couple of bad days of eating in a row, and I think this week I'm going to be putting up a big number in terms of weight loss. I'm excited for Tuesday to come so I can get back on that scale, see how I did after a full week. I'm about 10 pounds down right now since I started 6 weeks ago now. And I'm hoping that I can get down to 20 pounds overall lost before BlizzCon. That's sort of my main goal right now. BlizzCon, I'm absolutely stoked. I'm looking forward to going. I'll be heading out there, I believe, the 29th, 30th, whatever the Wednesday is before BlizzCon. I'll be heading out there with my wife. It's the first time I've been there. I've only seen it on the virtual ticket. I've seen all the news come across, watched the esports for a number of years now. But we'll finally be there live, and honestly, I'm pumped. The thing I'm most pumped about is meeting people, because that's the one thing that I can't do from home. I can catch all the news, I can catch all the esports, I can catch all the panels, but I'm so excited to get there and meet all the people that I've been interacting with online, through streams, through podcasts. It's going to be an absolute blast. And if you're hearing this and you're going to BlizzCon, let me know, because I want to meet you. I'm going to meet as many people as possible. So if you can't find me, I hope I find you. So with that said, let's get into today's topic, which is inertia in gaming. Now, what I mean in this case when I'm talking about inertia is a level of routine that becomes unconscious. Something that you're doing without really thinking about it. Something that's just a part of your life. So if there's a game that you play that you're playing so much, or you're playing so actively, that it's not even a question of whether you're going to play this game, it's just a part of your day. This is the sort of thing I'm talking about when I'm talking about inertia in gaming. Now, this isn't necessarily good or bad. This is just a thing that can happen, especially in a game like World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is a game that I've played for, 2007, so 12 years now. I've been on and off with World of Warcraft, more on than off, really. But definitely through my time with World of Warcraft, there were many parts of it where the question wasn't, what am I going to do when I get home from work today? What am I going to do when I get home from school? Maybe I'll play World of Warcraft, maybe I'll do something else. I just played. I didn't think about whether I wanted to play. I didn't think about what I was going to do when I played. It was just part of my life. I played World of Warcraft. And I think a lot of good came out of World of Warcraft. I made a ton of friends. I got in touch with the podcast community in general. There was a lot of good things that came around that level of inertia in World of Warcraft. But there were also some harmful things that ended up coming from that over time. And they came mostly because of an unexamined level of involvement with the game, an unexamined level of inertia. Now, I'll talk a little bit about that first. And this is something for me that came up with World of Warcraft raiding. Now, I raided starting in Wrath of the Lich King, so that was when the second version of Naxxramas came out. That's when I really started getting into the scene. And I was spending, probably at least 30 hours a week on the game. I was going to school. I was mostly getting my work done. I was mostly, staying healthy. But I was playing the game non-stop. And I was having a great time. I was connecting with my friends. I was having fun. I was working towards a competitive goal. And that inertia from playing the game and from not considering whether or not to play it took me to heights in World of Warcraft that I can still be proud of today. I went from a bench raider up to a raid leader. We went from sort of clearing content after it was current to getting really on the cutting edge of raiding. And that's progression and goals that I'm still proud of. However, towards the end, I started noticing in myself and I started noticing in others that raiding wasn't exactly making us happy. And rather than considering the fact that, hey, I'm not super happy raiding, maybe I should stop, we just started getting unhappy with the game. We started getting unhappy with each other. And it never really entered my mind that quitting raiding was something that I could do. That was the level of inertia I was dealing with in terms of my gaming time. And it really took an outside push from my life to have me re-examine that situation. I was heading into the last couple of years of college, and the time commitment required for the courses was finally at a point where I had to step back and think, how much time am I putting into World of Warcraft, and can I afford to put this time in? And so I ended up at the end of Cataclysm choosing to not continue raiding, not because I had organically come to that decision, but more because I had to. Looking back on it now, I think I was a little bit lucky to have been forced out at the time that I was, because I still felt good about the game. I was still able to maintain the relationships that I built in the game, even when I wasn't raiding. And there were some other people that got to the point where they were so disenchanted with the game, so unhappy with where their inertia had led them, that they flamed out of World of Warcraft completely. And some of those people were able to maintain their friendships, and some of them weren't. It had become so bad that they had to just leave the situation entirely. And I feel lucky that it didn't get to that point for me. So that's a bit of an example of what can happen when inertia sets itself into your life and it's something you're not really paying attention to. There were good things that came out of it at the start, but then things started to turn sour, and the unexamined inertia ended up leading me and some of the people I know into a bad place for a little bit. Now, if the inertia is something that you can harness, something that you're aware of, you can use that to great effect. You can use that to get to a point and get to a goal in your gaming that you may not have otherwise reached. Now, a good example that I've been through by taking that inertia and trying to use it positively is Heroes of the Storm ranked mode. Now, this is something over the last few years that I spent a lot of time working on, is Heroes of the Storm ranked anxiety. Now, this is something that comes up in a lot of the different games I play. Anything that has a competitive mode, anything that has a ranked mode, especially if it's player versus player. Like the World of Warcraft rating, the player versus environment, I never really got anxious about that sort of gameplay. But PvP Battlegrounds, Heroes of the Storm, StarCraft, Overwatch, anything where you're up against other people, always gave me a level of anxiety, mostly due to a level of incompetence or viewing myself as incompetent because I hadn't put in the time that other people had into a game like that. So if I look at Heroes of the Storm, what I ended up doing to try to overcome that anxiety and overcome those feelings of inadequacy was to simply enforce playtime. So what I would do is every day I would come home and play 3 games. It didn't matter if I felt like doing it. It didn't matter if I won or lost. I would just come home and play 3 games. And I would try to form that routine. Any day of the week, come home, just 3 games, 3 games, 3 games. And what ended up happening was I formed a pattern, I formed a routine where I wasn't thinking about, I gotta get home and play my 3 games, I'd really rather be doing something else. I just came home and did it, and then decided what to do with the rest of my evening. Usually at the start, I didn't continue on playing Heroes of the Storm because it was honestly an event that made me anxious and I didn't feel good about it. But after a while, the emotional sting of that ranked anxiety started to fade. I started playing more than 3 games. Sometimes I play 5 games. Sometimes I play more. Sometimes I would still only play my 3, but I'd just feel fine. I'd feel happy. I'd go off to play another game and I wouldn't have that resting anxiety at the end. And so by understanding the power of inertia, the power of routine, I took something that was not enjoyable, got through it, and got to the point where I was actually working on achieving a goal in a game that I wanted to achieve, which was getting over my ranked anxiety and actually progressing through the ranks of Heroes of the Storm. And now I can just log in and play Heroes ranked anytime I want. That monkey is completely off my back. Now, StarCraft, on the other hand, is something of a greater beast for me. I've tried to apply the same method, but man, something about that game has just got me tied in knots. I cannot get over the feelings of incompetence when it comes to StarCraft 2. It's just such a difficult game that's been out for so long. It's a goal of mine. I'd like to be the guy who can just log in and play some StarCraft, and I hope that I can take some of the experiences and observations I've had with Inertia, and I know it's worked before, and apply it to this. I just haven't had success with it yet. If you're a person out there who's played StarCraft 2 and gotten over this sort of thing, and you've got a secret, please let me know, because I'm still struggling. I'm still working hard on it. So just to put a bow on this discussion, when I'm talking about inertia in gaming, I wouldn't say that there's good or bad inertia. There's really just unchecked or examined inertia. If you can take a step back from your gaming routines and gaming habits, just to take a look and see, am I on a path that I'm happy with? And realize that you're not locked into the thing you're doing. There is a way to step back, step out of a situation, re-examine your happiness, realign your goals, and move forward. You can harness the power of inertia to get the things that you want done. Next week, we're going to build on our discussion of inertia and move outside of the sphere of gaming. We've all got goals in our lives, whether it be to exercise more or eat healthier, spend more time with friends and family, any kind of goal that you might have. And all of these things can be looked at through the lens of inertia. I'm looking forward to getting into it next week, so stay tuned for that. Before I sign off for today, I'd like to thank everyone who listened to episode 0. I appreciate the feedback and the encouragement to continue. I'm excited to keep on going and keep on improving with this show. I'd also like to give a big thanks to my wife Jasmine for going out and telling my friends and family about this project. It's not something that I would have done on my own, because I don't know how I would tell them, but she just went straight out and let them know about this project. As embarrassing as that was for me, I do appreciate it very much, and I can't thank her enough for that. This show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Pocket Casts, Stitcher, and YouTube. If you're hearing this show one way and you'd like to hear it on a different podcatcher you like, just let me know, and I'm sure I can get it listed there too. For the show, you can find us on Twitter @Krush's Kavern. If you're interested in what I'm doing, I'm on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram, all at the Krushinator. To see everything I do gathered all in one place, join me on Discord at tinyurl.com/Krushination. Intro and outro music for this podcast was created by Leviathan. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you again soon.